this will cause something, some way for someone, a city attorney and several different staff members to work with me, a hot team leader, a housing leader, or a homeless person leader in the city, and a separate person and an advocate, so that I can find my way out of this without having to have my life totally ruined. Do I need to perish from the earth? Are they going to have the hot team force me to go to another program to get rid of me? Or am I just going to languish there and I have no way to survive? And I'm getting a bill for $30,000. That's just for that horrible GR that I did not want and was invalid, and would have the provider needed to do that, not me. So
Michelle,
anyway,
Mrs. Francis,
Mrs.
Francis, your time is up.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
Please look into this, please. They are not trustworthy, and they are not doing their job. It's a travesty.
If I can please call up Rosie Vasquez.
Good evening, Commissioners. It was not my plan to speak today. I believe that as a 58-year-old lifelong resident of Chula Vista, I came here today with hope. I've spent the last 15 years of my life trying to address the homeless crisis. I've sat and worked with 3 different mayors, 3 different city managers. I have worked and walked the streets and the alleys with you, so many people here. James and I were on the first group of providers that were with the hot team back in the day. The mission was different. The mandate changed. The amount of ability to get money changed. And before we knew it, our city had developed a homeless industrial complex that I have watched for many, many years. And I stand today a little embarrassed that for a while I participated in it. So some of you know my work and the work we did as a community with hope to try and address this crisis. So Commissioners, I'm not standing here as someone who doesn't understand. And with all due respect, I may understand this city and the way it has addressed the unsheltered crisis perhaps a little bit better than all of you. So I do want to share a few things. If you Google the city of Chula Vista and you ask, why is there a homeless problem? This information came from the city's website. I didn't hear anybody talk about this today. The high cost of living. If you are going to where 68-year-old women in the park are sleeping because they have nowhere else to go, and with so much robust team that we have built since 2016, she has nowhere to go? Come on. I respect you all up until the point that you are not being honest with this commission. Health issues, domestic violence. We have prioritized human lives based on what we are. I beg this commission to please educate yourselves. If you have not gone out with the hot team for one day, you should not get to decide that this is moving forward. If you have not gone out and talked to residents of Chula Vista, 70% of the people that are street-bound here are from here. Do not wait until this is your daughter, your cousin, your husband, your grandmother, your mother. Because those are the people. This 40 age of 40 white males, we have statistics that show API community has grown over during COVID. There was no discussion about ethnicity, gender, statistics. You deserve that. You deserve to see. You asked, who are these people? And all you got was there was white males above 40? You need more information. Please, please heed I'm doing this way too long to not tell you that as much as I respect what you're trying to do, you need more information than just from this group of people. Why isn't there not one provider from any other organization that is working with them that is here today to tell you it's a good idea? Fear, like the lady said, fear of repercussion. So please, just consider it, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Vasquez. Is there a Katie Leon? Mrs. Leon, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm a resident of Chula Vista, and I've lived here for over 20 years. I've watched the problem increase. I go to work every morning, driving down L Street to get onto the freeway. I teach yoga to the maintenance men at the South Bay Union High School, or Union Elementary School District, and I teach them at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I am up when all of the homeless people are shuffling. I see this one senior woman walking down L Street every morning with all of her belongings, shuffling. Why isn't she in the tiny homes? How do you get there? How do you get in? Who lets you in? And also, I'm an advocate for these homeless people. How did you get on this commission? When did it start? How could I be a part of it? Because I have a lot of information that I don't think any of you do, just like Rosie said. Also, just being a resident and driving around, seeing the same people that I recognize over and over again. What are these services that you offer? Why are people saying no to them? And when does it stop? So you can't sit somewhere, and when are you going to decide? First of all, I've been to city council meetings many times. Today was the first time I've been asked to look in my purse. I don't know why, but I also felt violated. And I also felt like I couldn't say no. And that's just me as citizen. So I can't imagine what homeless people must feel like. And I certainly just don't understand. I just don't understand any of this. And I wish we could do better. That's all.
Thank you. I have Sebastian Martinez. Mr. Martinez, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you so much. My name is Sebastian Martinez. I used to run the Only Zero Barrier, which, by the way, the word low barrier does have meaning, not in the way that it was explained, trauma center in all of the South Bay. And now I'm the deputy executive director of a legal advocacy group called Community Advocates for Just and Moral Governance, but I'm just here as a lifelong Chula Vista resident today. This is a complicated issue. I really do understand that. You can Google my laminator. I'm easily the most quoted person in here on this topic, particularly on bans over the last 5 years and all kinds of publications. So I say this with a lot of respect. These questions were terrible. Are you not aware that if someone were on someone's house that they would, of course, possibly get arrested? I'm so confused. I was hoping that there would be legitimate information. I'm aware what the city's gonna do. We'll deal with that next month. But you guys have got to do better. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm leaving this meeting thinking the commission would just prefer unhoused people not take public transit at all. I mean, it's disgusting, the lack of information that you guys clearly seem to have at this point to be asking these questions. But just to be clear, homeless people are people. They pay to take the bus. They can do so. They were to trespass on your house. Absolutely, you could enforce the laws. I mean, that's how basic these questions were. And I'm sorry, I've had to be held accountable. I'm all about accountability. Do better. This was embarrassing. I'm actually impressed with the city's presentation today, but I don't know what this was. Like, ridiculous. Just to be clear. For example, even the question that you posed to Angelica about, what's happening in other cities. When someone says, well, it went well, you might want to ask what that means. Well, did it go well as in homelessness went down? Did it go well as in did it go well? Like, just basic, like, teenagers could have done a better job at asking critical questions. Ridiculous. I don't need the rest of my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Okay, there was one emailed response that all of the commissioners received.
Yes, and just to note that is available for the public on the table in front of us as well. We also did want to note that there was one other speaker slip submitted by Elizabeth Wilson Monahan, indicated that she did not wish to speak, same, but does oppose this item. And that is the extent of the public speaker slips that we've received.
Commissioners, do you have any further comments?
Well, I'd like to make a comment. And I wish that everybody that came up and gave a comment, they all stayed. I've been working in the homeless arena for many, many years, more than 15 years, more than 20 years. It's a broken system. Everything is, it's not easy. It's one of the most complex, difficult arenas to be in. I understand the complexities. I understand how we look at people and we should have more empathy for people in a lot of areas. One thing that I do know is that I know some of these people that do go out, because I went out with them. I was with Rosie, going out with them and serving this community, trying to improve our community. I've worked alongside Sam, and he's one of the most compassionate people that I know, one of the most sympathetic, really, that guy, he's real. I've worked alongside a lot of really good people. I've also worked alongside some people that I wouldn't want to work alongside. I understand it. We're a community. Some people don't do their job. I think you're right. I think some people are right. Some people don't do their job. But the truth is, I really believe that this city is trying to do its best. I've always seen that they've tried to do their best. But it's a difficult arena to be in because we don't have all the answers. I wish there was a way to go ahead and say, these are the answers, and we don't. But I look at things, and when the city presents something and it's new, we never know how it's going to work. I think that when we started the homeless outreach team, we didn't know how that was going to work. A park ranger, a guy that was a striper, a city striper, didn't know how that was going to work out. Did really well. It's not perfect. I think Sam would admit that that's not perfect. There's not a perfect solution for this, but I do think that the city's going and trying hard to do its job. And that's my comment as a person from the community, as someone that's worked in the community for the homeless.
Thank you, James. That was great. I do need a motion, commissioners. Do you have a comment? Okay. Okay.
I would like an answer to the question that the that left already posed about asking about the purses. I've never experienced that before either at a meeting. Can someone clarify why that was required when I walked in, that I needed to open up my purse?
At every, as far as for Chula Vista, depending on, there are certain items you cannot bring into, like for example, some signs that are with the stick. There's a certain size that you can't get in, and sometimes, they have the right to check, items to make sure they don't bring anything illegal.
My question is, why did it happen at this meeting as opposed to any? I've been on the board for over 2 years. It's not once have I ever been asked that. And she experienced that as well.
We've had an increase in incidents, like countywide and statewide at public meetings. And there is an interest in keeping everyone safe and making sure that like these are created, spaces that are created for people to be able to speak safely, an environment. So there have been increased security measures based on things that have happened in other
Is that something
jurisdictions.
we will be doing moving forward consistently? Because I think that's
My
really
understanding
important
from the
that-
police department.
For the safety
not
of the
haphazard.
council and everyone in attendance, I believe so, yes.
Okay.
And I just want to add, that is specific to this council chambers. That's not something that you would typically encounter in a meeting room that this commission would potentially normally be in.
We've had many meetings here. Most of our meetings have been in this council chamber. That's why I'm just curious. I needed clarification on that as well.
Sure, if I could, I'm sorry. Hi, Courtney Chase, Deputy City Manager. And I will say it's been a number of months, but it has been implemented in here over the summer, I believe, or at the beginning of summer. So the PD does come and look through the chamber prior to meetings when it's opened, and they do look through all the bags when they come in now. So it's a new procedure that is taking place.
If I can just comment, I had no problem with my purse being checked, and if it's a safety concern or a safety issue, just like if we were in the airport,
I never
anywhere
said I had a
else.
problem with it. I asked for clarification as to why, because I've never experienced it. And we had a citizen that asked the question. And so I think we owe it to the community to let them know why. It's a legitimate reason. So we don't need to defend it, we just need to explain it.
I think they spoke to that when they checked our purses, that it was a safety issue. As I recall, that's what I was told.
Again, I don't have a problem with it, but it's nice. I was asked if I had weapons, and so. Thank you
How soon
for
is this,
answering the question.
how soon is this going to go to council?
It's scheduled to go to council on September 10th, and because it is an ordinance, there would be a proposed ordinance. The council, it's a process, so if the council presented, it would have to be heard again at a second meeting, and then it would go into effect 30 days later. So even if they hear it on September 10th, the soonest it could go into effect would be probably around there.
And what I'd like to see is kind of like what some of the comments that were brought up. Those things that were asked, we had that. I'm in a worse position now. I would like for us to go ahead and find out, get some. Where were the breaks? Because to me, as a business owner, and just as a business owner, when I hear somebody complain about my business, I hear that, I go, wait a minute, was there a legitimate break somewhere? Is it legitimately something that's not right here? And then how can I improve it? Because for me, I mean, the customer service is number one, and not that we're talking about people, but we serve a community, and it's serving them. And so if there are some breaks in it, I think we should go back and kind of look and see what are some of those things that are being brought up negatively about what the job that we're and then try to look at ourselves and say, okay, how can we improve in that? How can we make it easier? I haven't worked in that arena in a long time, so I don't know how difficult, but when she's saying 7 years and I'm in a worse place now, I'm gonna definitely wanna go, why are you in a worse place now? And where was the break in that, and how can I fix that, and how can person or those people better so this doesn't happen again? Can we kind of do some background?
Spoke earlier, obviously we can't divulge any of our personal information. Years, and that is correct. That was one of the first clients that we actually placed in one of the city-owned units. She is that she does have some challenges. But just, I do want to have the commissioners know that we are working with her consistently. Address, absolutely.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that was there was a lot of passion there. And so there was a lot of passion and try to find out why haven't I been able to of certain individuals or organizations, and how can I work better with them so that we might be able to come to a better what it is, how the process is to get into the shelter, you know? Well, how come if they're obviously, they obviously want to know that information, and are we making that readily available? To me, it's all like I love to hear somebody that says, this is not working, this is broken, and then I go, where's it broken? If you're in this, working in this, you should definitely have empathy, compassion, and a very thick skin. We have to do because we're dealing with not just one, we're dealing with so many people's lives. So, you know, that's just for
At this time, commissioners, I do need to have a motion to move forward on the recommendation.
motion to approve.
Is there a second, commissioners?
I second the motion.
Commissioner Montoya Cecina. Commissioner Paddock.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson Alpadu. Commissioner Witzel.
Aye.
Vice Chair Marino. And Chair Cabral.
Aye.
Action item 5.1 passes. We'll be moving on to our next item, which is 5.2. Five point two is a draft pre-housing designation program application public review. And I just want to say for our presenters, for our 5.1, thank you for the information and the presentation. Thank you for answering our questions. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Chair and Commission. My name is Chris Stanley. I'm a senior planner in the Housing and Homeless Department. I'm actually bringing forward something I actually brought forward previously when we did the housing package back in October. Part of that was the pro-housing designation. I believe you guys may remember that, but kind of give you a little oversight of what that was. Basically, it's a program that's put on through the state housing, or HCD, but we call it Housing and Community Development Department. The idea is that with this pro-housing designation would be able to receive funding. Jurisdictions without the designation could not. It's called the Pro-Housing Incentive Program, or PIP for short. Part part of it would be priority processing or funding points for several programs. Just an example of it is Infill Infrastructure Grant, IIG. Wanted to kind of talk about, so we've already applied for this, but part of the requirement for it is to have a 30-day public comment period. And so that's what I'm kind of bringing this forward to kind of make it known to the public. It's actually already available on our website. I'll explain a little more on the next page, but so we did already apply, or we're in the process of it, and it's a program we have to get at least 30 points in order to be approved. And so far, we believe we have 35 points. Some of the things that we're getting the city points, one thing would be CEQA exemptions. So, when we're having projects and we're able to have them exempt from CEQA, which, by the way, is California Environmental Quality Act. It's basically something that you need to go through environmentally. There's a federal version, but then our state version is actually, honestly, probably a little more strict. So if someone can get streamlined process through that, that's helpful for getting projects streamlined, which part of that would obviously be getting housing built sooner. Another example would be objective design standards. So basically, not having shoulds and instead having shalls, requirements like that, where something could be subjective, maybe, I don't know, the color shouldn't be an offset color or something. Another thing would be like pre-approved ADU plans, which is something that we have been working on for months now, housing, which in theory eventually would get hopefully more affordable to be living in San Diego, California, Chula Vista, whatever example you want. Gave, I believe, $100,000 loans to people who applied for it. I believe we already have those two that are some of the things that we had in the pro housing application. The last page was, so it's a 30-day comment period. Again, it's actually already live on the city website, but officially, we also put in advertisements. Officially in the newspaper, it's going to be Friday, August 23rd to Sunday, September 20th. It's on the sub-page, affordable housing, building affordable housing. You go under departments, you can go to housing, and then that should be the first page that pops up. What's included on there, it's going to be the application itself. Already bring this forward. It went all the way to city council, and we got a reso saying that yes, we'd like to go. There's also the points like the rubric I mentioned and the programs we have that we believe would get us. It's this process and discussions with HCD. They have 60 stations. So, like for example, we talked about the CEQA exemptions. We provided some to prove that, right? So again, it's on our city website, or anyone, they can email me. My email is c. And yeah, just wanted to bring that forward to you guys. Was there any questions maybe?
Thank you, Chris, for that presentation. Excuse me. The outreach you mentioned for.
No community meetings planned. Again, just, go on.
Oh, I was just saying outside of this, because you're
Correct.
considering this a.
Email blast to different groups, so such as Del. What else do we have? We have
vulnerable populations throughout the South Bay. And also all of our CDBG subrecipients, so all of our partner agencies that we work with as well, and we're asking them.
Do we generally, I know you don't have decades here with the Chula Vista yet, but in your experience so far.
For example, this was a part of that housing package, right, that we brought to council, and there was not any comments on, to be honest, I mean, we're pro-housing, we want to get the designation, which would get us more. I'm interested to see what kind of comments or reviews of the application, we would have.
I would say that typically when the policies are brought forward, that's when you see the and the pro-housing application have already been adopted. But certainly during that process of adoption, and so during those time periods, we certainly do see public comment coming in. Huge amount since those policies have already been adopted, but we're certainly, that's why we're doing this. We're certainly open to public comment so that we can make that confirmation for you to see if we can get some more points.
Let's see where we're at here. Thank you for your presentation. And you said already we're at the 35.
Haven't been confirmed from HCD yet, but again, it actually won't come until after this, what their determination is.
Okay, if we don't meet that benchmark,
No negative impact, but I guess I confirm with Stacy, but I would assume we need to do to get up to the 30 points. Yeah.
okay, all right. Yep. Okay, thank you for the presentation. Very nice. All right, we're at number 6, which would be the staff comments.
We have Brian Warwick, our housing manager, with us this evening that wanted to provide you an update on a project that you see this item, or is this one that we could not?
Yes, this was brought in May, I believe. This is the Paseo del Rey project. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This was in May, the Housing Commission recommended approval of a loan commitment to an affordable project to be developed by Wakeland. It's located on Paseo del Rey. 96 units, half of them would be permanent supportive housing, including some units for homeless veterans and chronically homeless individuals and families. And then the rest would be a mix of other households at low income and very low income ranges. And the reason we're bringing it back is because it was after this resolution was adopted by City Council, it was brought to our attention that there are some upcoming funding deadlines set forth by HUD for some of the funds that we had allocated to this project, that they need to be dispersed by September 30th. So that doesn't give us a lot of time. The project won't be ready to start construction by then, and this was supposed to be a construction loan. So what we are planning to seek council approval for is to restructure this as an acquisition loan instead. So because Wakeland has already acquired the site, so we would just help use our loan funds to help reimburse them for the property acquisition. That would enable us to meet our HUD deadlines so that we wouldn't have to have those funds reclaimed by HUD. So this is the proposed change. Because this came up at the sort of the last minute, we didn't have a chance to draft a resolution or a formal staff report for this meeting. So we're just including it in, so we won't be holding a vote on this item. But we wanted to at least present it so that you had a concept of what we'll be bringing to council. We're scheduled tentatively for September 10th for a council item to amend the original resolution to allow for acquisition for the use of funds. So happy to take any comments or concerns or questions on this proposed change.
The same, we're just reclassifying the funds.
Yeah, we're just restructuring so that we don't lose them.
Does that change our role as a city, having acquired it now? Or
No, we're not acquiring the site, using them for the cost of the land. Whereas previously, it doesn't really make a difference, you know, it's all going towards the same, exactly, so that we can expedite the funds.
September 10th.
Could we go back just one slide just to see what the,
Two loans that council approved. One is home and home ARP funds, and the home and home ARP funds totaled 3.3 million. We have to disperse 239,000 by September 30th. But it may make sense to just entire pot as, you know, to allow a larger amount for this.
And I would just add that it is fairly common practice for the city property that is intended for affordable housing as well as a partner in that. It's just simply, it's a different place in the pro forma at the end of the day.
It's the same project.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Number 7, chair comments. That's me. Commissioner. Thank you for working with the community. As a lifelong Chula Vista resident, I've seen the changes. I grew up here. My kids grow up here. We go to school here. As the woman said earlier, I do drive on the same streets that she does. I actually work for a large healthcare system for the last 24 years as an ER coordinator. So I do see the recidivism. I see homelessness in and out. I give clothes, I give shoes, I give shelter, I give resources, taxi vouchers, bus passes. I sit up here and I am very confident in knowing what the city is going through. I would like to see a little bit more community. Better words. We're a community of over 200,000 people. I only have less than 50 people in the audience. I do think we do get the word out every quarterly. Media, our agenda is up to date. If you could pass the word, let's get some more people in here and get a little bit more robust conversation. Thank the staff for coming in. Our officer, thank you very much. Our presenters, and Mr. Paddock coming from East Chula Vista, having to take 2 buses. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate it. And the audience who would like to look at our website, there are vacant seats that are available. Stacy, if you would love to have a seat up here, thank you. For commissioners' comments, could I just go right down the line? Okay.
I have no comment other than thank you to all of the folks that spoke. We hear you, and I do appreciate the presentations as well and the clarity and all of the information provided with regard to our questions. Thank you.
This is a challenging issue for our community, but it is something that we have to deal with. So I think the city is looking to provide the services and the help that people who are stuck on the we are making the effort, and I believe that we are making strides towards improving the situation here in our community for both the homeless and for the community.
I agree that this is a very complex and not easy topic to work on with concerning the homeless. But I do think that our city is doing a good job. I do think that we could do a better job. I mean, just like even that all of us can do a better job as a community, working together, trying to figure things out and make our community better. But I do appreciate all the comments that we did get. I think we should always try to take those in and see what we can do. And I do think that the city is going in the right direction in some areas they need some help, but that's just the way it is. It's always going to be that way. We're always going to be having something that we got to work on, and that's why it's important for the community to get involved, come out, and be a part of the conversation that we're having. But I hope that what we agreed tonight, I hope that it works because, you know, I know the city's trying, and I know that I'm up here, and the reason I'm here is because I'm trying, and I believe that everybody that's up here today is trying their best to make our a better community for us. So, thank you guys.
I'm still on, I didn't realize that. I agree with what you said, James, that I believe that people that are working on this issue do have a desire to make a positive impact for our community. I think it's just really imperative that we hear things that we don't want to hear. We hear those difficult comments from the community and follow it up. We take action. We are responsive. We are the community. We're representing each person that's there. And I do hope people follow up. As you've extended the clarion call, there's some openings on the board. It would be nice to have people who are pro-housing, pro-homeless, pro-business, pro-landlord. It's good to have a very diverse perspective up here so we can get various ideas in the decisions that we make. And so I wholeheartedly concur. And the comment that you made earlier about having thick skin for this, it's not personal. This is people's lives. And so I think it's important for us to just really have thick skin to receive and hear what people are dealing with. Whether it is accurate in our perspective doesn't really matter. It's accurate in their perspective, and that's what counts. And so I, have said this before, I have a balanced approach from being a landlord for over 25 years, as well as being a resident of this community for more than that. And I do want to make sure that I have a balanced approach in making decisions and recommendations. We're not making decisions, we're making recommendations, and the city council is making those decisions. But it's important that our recommendations to the city are reflective of the community, not just reflective of our opinions. Our opinions must come from what we're hearing from people. And of course we have opinions and, we bring our own experiences, but I think it's just important for us to keep that perspective of why we're here. And again, my question was answered regarding the question that I had. Wasn't offended at all by the request to open my purse, but I did want to know why. And we as public servants need to always be open to the why. This is government. This is government for the people. And so we need to always be open to the whys. My question was satisfied. It's a very good reason. I didn't know that there had been any threats, but now I know. And of course, I want to be safe. I want our community to be safe. But let's be open to the whys that people ask and keep serving. And so thank you to those of you, because it takes time out of our schedule. Thanks to all of you commissioners who are here serving as well, and to staff. We appreciate the work that you all are doing. So that's it for me.
Homelessness is a very complex issue. We may not get it right, but at least we're trying.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:56 p.m. I am adjourning this meeting to the next regular Housing and Homeless Commission meeting, October the 23rd, 2024 at 3:30. That was for James.
The only is there wasn't any threats. There doesn't have to be any threats. They're using threats from around the world to make it a justification. That's the problem I have with it. For the commissions, so a lot of commissioners aren't even protected.